I hate Neil.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
What? Live again, I assume? Yeah, we're live.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Jake walked away after the man delivered his line, and I imagine that raises the question for the two of you as to what the heck he's referring to.
Ilen would say, we expecting trouble?
He says, oh, maybe. The issue with them is they, will lurk, hide out of sight as best as they can. And if they think that you're a soft target, they will go in and sink their teeth. Do what they need to. Luckily for
How
us...
How does one hide here?
You can... there's ways to use the astral. There's so much of it about that you can stay magically. You can have it almost disguise yourself within it, but for the most part, you stay extreme distances away. Remember, distance here is not the same as what you think it is, but you stay extreme distances away. It's to the point where you're not even a dot on the horizon. When you're dealing with huntsmen, they're small vessels, much smaller than the one that we're on right now. The crew will be small as well, half dozen at most. But when they come, they do what they need to. They deliver. A huntsman's vessel is not meant to be is not meant to survive the combat. Part of the opening tactic, if you don't notice them coming, they'll move at you with speeds like you wouldn't believe, and their ship will collide into yours and rip through it. The plan, of course, is to catch everybody off guard, kill many down below, maybe set off a couple of charges or something, cause havoc and mayhem. They don't care if anything's destroyed because any amount that they take is already a gain. Then they'll just move through the ship and kill everybody they can. Some of the more advanced ones are, I don't know. Some of the more advanced ones, what they can do, they can... You know how you're having a hard time here choosing which way is down and how strong down is and relative to you, right? They can choose for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, no sense on dwelling on things like that now, eh? Captain's here. They're gonna figure out what's gone on, and we've weathered it before. We'll weather it again. I'll give him a clap on the shoulder.
He says he's just being cocky because he got the killing blow last time we dealt with Huntsman. Yeah. Been lording that about a bit, haven't you?
Well, not every day that you get outperformed by someone twice your age.
He chuckles and he shakes his head and goes, well, let's just hope that's not it. And he'll kind of go back about leaving the three of you alone again.
You'll be fine. Well, you probably want to stick nearer me, but you'll be fine. He points directly at Ilen when he says this.
Calm down there. Just little sparks.
So the captain's gone to figure out the next plan. Is that right?
Well, if that is a scrap of a ship, there might be a way to tell what happened. Magics are powerful in this place.
Yes,
far beyond my ken.
Going to ask, there's downsides with using magic here as far as replenishment. Are there upsides too? I imagine there must be a way to use the timelessness to your advantage.
Well, I suppose it might have its advantages.
I might try and do some experimenting with my magics that don't need replenishing.
What I would say is it's not a plane like the other planes, but I've been to the fire plane. If you light a fire there, it burns.
Yes, I've been there too.
If you use magic here, well, think of this like that. Magic is the flame.
Interesting. Ilen would actually just start trying his various cantrips. Either if they're ones that produce something off the edge of the ship, if not, he would do it just sort of there. Stuff like spark, light, detect magic. Oh, he's done that one. Create water, guidance.
Alera would actually like stop you if you start casting things off into the distance or like firing lights.
No, they're not light. It's so light. There's nothing that like would keep going other than create water would just create drops of water.
He'd still stop you in like a clear. It's like it's different to the he showed a level of like cockiness or bravado earlier, but when you start firing stuff, even if it's only going 30, 60 feet off, or you're like doing lights, he'd be like, he'd catch the wrist and say, not right now.
Okay. Then I would at least do the ones like I want to sort of test if stuff that would last a short time has any sort of effect. Like, for example, guidance. If it feels like it lingers longer, that sort of thing.
Sure. So you're saying if it lingers?
Well, because if there's like the time doesn't pass here, sort of thing. Wondering if that affects the duration of spells.
Not exactly. But if you're sitting there, and again, if you're incanting, which generally speaking requires like strongly said verbal components and gestures and stuff like that, you might be able to, after the first couple things where LRL says something, and you try to keep it a bit more discreet. As you do a few more, you can see others around kind of getting a bit itchy with the fact that you're doing this. You're being experimenting now. Like now is maybe not the right time for
Well,
this.
you say that, but like I need to know going into combat, if we're going into combat, how my everything changes. So they may be like, oh, it's not a good time. If I don't do it now, it could be worse.
So to counter the counterpoint, one of them would be like, yeah, but if you do that, it guarantees combat. Whereas if you just sit down and be quiet, you can sit cozy in the hole while we fight.
Don't plan to be doing that.
After a period of time passes, eventually the captain comes out holding the scrap and will walk out and...
Okay, so with guidance, that's the one that has like a 9-minute length on it. Would that linger longer? Because I think that's probably the one I'd use.
The problem is, what's 9 minutes?
That's what I mean. So like...
You don't know what 9
The
minutes is.
easiest way is, we've got what we think is time. So, like, generally if you're sitting somewhere, you can be like, it's been about 5 minutes-ish or whatever.
Can I use the ticking and stuff on borrowed time to help me keep pace? Because it's a clockwork thing that's constantly going.
You could try.
Okay, can I try and use that to sort of keep pace and time?
Sure. So
Okay.
you grab the clockwork thing and you're looking at it and you see that it ticks and it ticks and it ticks, but the second hand never moves. It's almost like it's a broken watch where it keeps like ticking the same tick over and over again.
Okay. Well, that could be good. The buffs may last a very long time here. We don't know.
So you she eventually comes out and she goes to address the rest of the whole crew. And she holds the bit there and she says, "This looks to be a bit of scrap from a ship now. We don't know exactly what had happened there. We looked into it, tried to feel its past, but it's either been scrambled to the point where we can't actually see its past, or it has been removed long enough that the past is so long ago, it can't be seen that way either. Nonetheless, I want everybody to be on alert in case there is anything approaching. I want eyes on all sides in case we see anything approaching. You only have a few moments to reduce the damage, if not cause it to miss us entirely. Everybody be on alert. Go in shifts, as other responsibilities need to be taken care of. Nobody has leave, nobody has rest, until I say otherwise. Questions? Good."
Captain,
She looks at you as she says, "Good."
this one was able to work out what you picked up from the middle of the ship. I wouldn't mind having him in the crow's nest.
She looks
He
at
obviously
him.
motion sickness.
Yep. She looks at him and says, "Well, he was recommended by somebody trustworthy."
Ilen has a little like is that sort of suppress the giggle.
She'll nod and say, "Very well. Head to the crow's nest. Have them explain to you how it works. If you're keen enough, perhaps you can help us."
In nod and head to the crow's nest.
Okay. She looks about when nobody else says anything else. She says, "Good." And then she will kind of get down, and instead of going back into her quarters, whatever was there before, she's going to be out and about on the ship, looking after things, talking to people, getting questions, sending a couple people here and there to go and maybe see if they could do a little bit of further, like checking out what it was that was sent that was actually below deck, and looking at the pieces, trying to see if anybody else has any degree of expertise that she might be able to utilize. Much so, some peoples will not waste any part of an animal killed for their benefit. This captain is not going to waste any part of her crew for the benefit of the vessel.
So, getting the idea that if combat happens, it's going to happen very, very quickly, and that hopefully, at the very least, things last longer, if not much longer. Ilen is going to go under deck, so he's not like out in the open, and he's going to cast magic vestments on himself, so that he has that. It's a 9-hour thing, just so he has it on him ready. If combat happens, he doesn't have one less buff he has to cast.
Are you level 9 or 10?
9.
And
Are we 10?
Did you know a level?
Not that I was never told to.
yeah, Scott put it in the text chat afterwards.
Yeah.
We're level 10 now. Don't worry, you can do it afterwards. It's fine.
Yeah. I was like, wait a second, because I thought you were 10, and that's why I wrote 20 gallons up above. I was like, oh, 2's per level, 20 gallons. It's a lot of water.
Okay, 10 hours then, I guess.
Yeah. All right, cool. I'm like,
That changes a lot of things for me.
yeah, level 10 tends to be 10 or 11 tends to be a big power up for a lot of classes. So, cool. Oh, excuse me.
Oh, big yawn, Scotty Waddy. Oh, big
Okay, so yeah,
I haven't had
then
coffee yet
10
because
hours
Brittany
then.
says she's gonna get me one. So I'm like,
And then he would go up on deck and keep watch and be ready. He may not be very observant, but at the very least, I might be able to get a spell off at whatever's coming at us.
Jake, you make your way above deck while he's doing his experimentation below deck. And yes, Jake, Ritesh.
It's not experimentation now. Now he's just casting a single spell and then coming back upstairs.
That's an
That's it.
experiment.
That's it, Scott. Both of the Aussies have had enough of your shit, all right?
It's been months. I did it once just now. Such a
And if
harsh
you keep
call
this
out.
up, we're going to ship you off to an island and never deal with you again, all right?
Can I go to Puerto Rico?
No.
Oh, what island do I have to go to?
Someone owned, like one that's empty but owned by Jeff Bezos.
Could I instead go to the one owned by?
No.
What's his name?
And everything you use on the island accrues debt with Jeff.
The hell's that guy's name? The one that hung himself in prison.
Epstein.
Epstein. I was gonna say,
Epstein.
can I go to Epstein's Island instead? So
Jesus.
yeah.
Okay.
Cool. You think Bezos has Epstein's Island? Or do you think he just has his own Epstein Island?
Bezos has probably like several Epstein Islands.
Yeah. So it's always funny when they say he's the most wealthy man in the world. It's like, no, he's not. No, he's not. Look at the what is it? The United the EAU.
Oh yeah, he's definitely
whatever it's
UAE.
UAE. Thank you.
There
I
are
was like, wait,
some
that's wrong. UAE.
insane
Yeah.
like wealth.
Yeah.
It's like dumb. It's like money. When you look
Or
at their
Elon
wealth,
Musk,
it's just
nothing comparatively.
A concept
Yeah.
is like fucking weird. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the British Crown. How much coin do you think they got? They don't report it. You know, they just don't report it. They don't talk about it. So yeah, you have it's tracked for people like Bezos and Musk, sure, but not for people like the princes of the Middle East or the Queen of England and stuff like that.
No, I'd be really interested to see. I bet one of the richest purely English organizations would be like the University of Cambridge. They own an alarming amount of the city of Cambridge in terms of land and everything.
So, but that's a university, not an individual, right? Like it's
Yeah,
an
yeah,
entity,
yeah.
not a person.
But so's the Queen of England. Like it's owned by the royalty, not her.
Well, isn't she the head of the royalty, or is it like hear ye, we will gather together as a council of royalty and.
Well, no, but like there are obviously various royal holdings, but they're all owned by various like the royalty are the dukes and duchesses.
Gotcha.
So it's split.
Completely understand what you're saying there. So like your cousin owns that, and your uncle owns that.
Exactly.
You own this. I get that, but I'm curious how much is actually
I
in
too
her
would
pocket.
like to know.
You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
too would like to know. Yeah.
You know, like the crown is a brand. Yeah, I hear you on that one. Also, Putin is the most wealthiest. That's a funny phrasing, but yeah, no.
You ever thought that Anno's like just here to infiltrate us?
Yeah, right. Like Otto is the Russian troll of the community.
He's like, hello, I am Italian.
Oh, that's fucking. Oh, God.
Please, somebody clip that. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, I go to the gulag. Anno, please.
Oh god, that was amazing. Oh man. Oh,
Good.
oh Jesus. Oh. Oh god. Okay, sorry. Ugh.
The good thing about that joke is it wouldn't be funny if we didn't know our community.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. Oh God, that killed me. Sorry. Just layers of funny. I've been on like so many calls with Otto too, so now I want to hear Otto do a Russian accent. Oh Jesus! All right, focus. Will you just let me in? No. The beratement. I'm good. So what was I saying? So where were we? Oh, she's going about looking at this. Jake, you're up on the crow's nest. Try to catch your breath. It was a hard climb to get up there. You know, it's not like it's easy, just like walk or hop up, right? It's actually a legitimately hard climb to get up the crow's nest while carrying a ball and chain on you. So you make your way up to the crow's nest, and the person that's actually up on the crow's nest, you can tell by the way that they're looking down at you, and you're super high sense motive. You can tell by the way that they're looking down at you that they totally, their personality would suggest they wish that they were sitting there, like head on hand, elbows in the rim, just kind of like watching you struggle to get up here, like, oh. But obviously they have an important task at hand, so they kind of like look down at you, chuckle, and will look out, look down at you, chuckle, look out. So you finally make your way up there and over and onto the crow's nest. You don't need to make a climb check. You just take your time. You take a 20, right? And you get up there. And when you finally climb on, they just hand you the spyglass, which as soon as you take it into your hands, you can actually like kind of take into the details about the spyglass. First and foremost, the spyglass right around the band of metal, right around the eye, right around the actual like spy piece at the far end, and the area where you would do the twist and put in. You believe it's actual gold. You're not sure if it's gold or not. It definitely looks like gold, but you believe it's actual gold. The rest of the object is made out of a material that you can't quite place. You're not sure if it's a carved wood or a type of stone or some other material, or maybe like a petrified wood. You honestly aren't sure what the rest of the material along like the shaft of this thing is. The actual spy piece that you look into is a bit of clear crystal. Let's assume it's glass. It could be something like a sapphire, like modern fighter pilot helmets are made, like the new ones that the U.S. makes. Oura. Piece that you look into, but the far side of it, it's actually a very, like, we're talking because the other end of a spyglass is decent size. The gem that's in there is deep red in color, kind of like a garnet, if you know what that looks like a deep red in color with almost a slight purplish-ness to it. This thing is like the size of your fist, if not slightly larger, and it's cut with so many facets onto this thing. Like, it's one of those things where at first you see this like large red crystal at the end, and you think just almost instantly, oh, that looks smooth. No, it's not smooth. And then obviously with your super high perception, you kind of like look at it for a second, and you're looking at this thing, and you're like, well, this is a ton of like tiny facets cut into this thing, giving it kind of like almost like a rounded look. So they hand it to you, and as soon as they hand it to you, they say, you ever used one of these before or no?
No.
All right. Well, it can be a bit difficult to get used to. When you're holding on to it, the first thing you're going to want to do is look through it. Some people like to leave an eye open, the other eye open. Some people like to close both eyes. I personally close their other eye. I personally like to close my other eye and kind of allow myself to lean into it. Others, like I said, will leave the other eye open to almost ground themselves, so they can, even though they have a bit of a split vision, they can kind of keep themselves a bit know where they are. When you're holding it, you kind of have to lean into it. I know it sounds strange, but the stronger you focus your eye, the further you can see. But the further you can see, the more finite your precision has to be. Otherwise, you might not notice what you're seeing. For instance, what I had noticed that the captain just took into her quarters, that was very far from us and very small. But I was able to pluck it out of the sky because I used very finite, precise movements to view. I feel like I'm describing this poorly. It's kind of a thing you just learn to do. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, I guess the only way is to try. I'm not trying to take your job. The captain ordered me up here, so give it a go. If it's better off in your hands, better off in yours.
He shrugs and says, hey, if you're good at this, that means you become a permanent part of the crew. And since the other guy died, I would like some time off from time to time.
Grishka nods at him. Understandable.
As you like take the thing, you start to like raise it up to your eye the first time. He goes, "You did know, right?"
Know what?
Oh, they always kill the spotter first.
Makes sense.
Sorry, Jake.
Oof.
And you're like, makes sense. And you hold the thing up and start looking out.
He's like, you do know they kill the spotter first. And Grish just like, 1 second. Pulls his giant nutsack up through the aperture and puts it next to him. There we go.
Look, I don't know what we're up against yet, and you know we've seen a lot. All right, so it's gonna need more than a couple of words before real worry sets in.
All right. Why don't you go ahead and roll me a perception check, please, sir?
Look, can you have a real quick peek in Discord?
P in Discord.
Peek.
Oh. Why? Am I supposed to be staring at Philip?
Oh, that's you.
Because of my hood. Oh my god, that's amazing. Oh, that's funny. Oh, you bastard. I'm cold. Okay? Cold. It's 10 degrees colder here than it was that I kept upstairs yesterday for Josh. So it's 15 degrees colder than Josh keeps his house. I'm cold. Ugh. You just man up and deal with it. So, where were we?
Grishka was looking through the eyeglass.
The spyglass, thank you. So, first and foremost, when you're looking through this thing, again, it's one of those, like, as you look through it, nothing seems different to you. You're just staring out at the milky white beyond, and then you look into this thing, and it's the same. You're staring out at effectively nothing beyond. He goes, all right, well, I guess let's run through a bit of an explanation. Here we go. Gestures down towards the bow of the ship, the mast that comes off the bow of the ship, pointing forwards. He goes, look down at the very tip of the mast down there. Give it a good look. And when you look at it, it actually magnifies it a good bit. I mean, your character is from the Barren Lands, right? So he's not super accustomed to things like magnifying glasses. But, Elliot, had one that he always had in his office. You fiddled with it before. So understand the concept of magnification. It's not like it's completely foreign to you. So when you look down at it and everything seems a little bit closer and larger than it did before, you're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And, this nifty thing here. You can see it more or less the mast kind of takes up pretty much from almost none of your vision. The tip of the mast takes up like probably a good 50% or 40% of your vision through the spyglass. Cool. He goes, now lean into it. kind of focus on the tip of the mast and see if you can make out finer details. For this, if you want to go ahead and roll me an intelligence check.
That clip is golden. Reminds me, I think the only other time I've seen us laugh that hard in a clip was during the chodening.
Other people tell jokes too, Neil. So anyways, you sit there and you're staring at the thing and you don't understand what he's saying. How would Jake, how would Grishka kind of describe this?
Nothing's changing. Looks the same.
Think of. I'm trying to think of how the best way to describe this for you. Think of it getting bigger. Like stare at the tip of the mast and think of it getting bigger.
Does he also like come and sit behind him and reach around and like, let me help you?
Grishka tries to think of it getting bigger.
Again, roll an intelligence check.
Jake is like, I can't believe you just made me say that on Twitch TV.
Your little brother watches. Just remember that. So, unfortunately, you're just having a hard time with this. He's like, damn. As you like kind of pull the thing down and give him like a blank look, he's like, you have to really focus. Like you're focusing. He's like, I got an idea. He kind of grabs the thing and he twists it a little bit and kind of like pulls it in, and he holds it up to his eye and slowly pulls it out like this. Right? He's like, try doing that. Try doing that as you're looking down. And so you grab the thing, and at first when you kind of like pull it out and you're looking, it's just blurry. The whole thing is just blurry. You can't make out a detail, and you imagine Christian is blurry. He's like, yeah. Just but continue to like slowly, and then eventually the blurriness wears away. But what you notice is the magnification itself. You can see the mast, but the mast is smaller degree of your perception than it was before. Maybe like 17% of their perspective before. But as you continue to pull it further out, you can see that it is it takes up that full like 45% of your perception. It almost like zooms for you as you're doing it. And as you're kind of like seeing that, it's like that last bit there. You see how it got bigger for you as you were pulling it?
The twist and pull technique.
Yep.
Oh, fuck you.
Yep, I've seen it.
No, you continue to do that, but don't twist and pull. Do it with your mind.
Okay.
Roll an intelligence check.
He's not gonna get any better.
Well, you roll like Nick. You know my buddy Nick?
Yeah.
There you go.
Your buddy Nick.
My buddy Nick
You
would
know
be
what?
proud of you.
Let's try and crest the 10.
You crested it. So it actually works to a degree. Looking at the thing, focusing on it, you're actually able to get it so that it does zoom a bit for you. You can actually see the thing gets a bit larger. You can actually make out some of the grain in the wood. It goes from taking up about 45%, whatever, of your perspective, to taking up a good like 80%, doubling effectively what you can see there. And so when you see that happening, it works. What does he say?
How to say this without starting Neil back off? Yes, I can't.
I know, it's easy to get Neil off. I know. Go ahead.
It's working. I'm trying to understand what you mean.
Good. Now I want you to focus so far down, you can see the engravement that's put on there. There's an image that's been carved into there. Focus until you can see that. Another intelligence check. If you fail, you can cheat. Hey! You focus up to the point where you don't need a cheat by making a really high perception check. You can actually zoom into the point where you can now look about and see where the engraving is. The engraving is literally the engraving of somebody doing this. It's literally just a little middle finger going up.
That's fantastic.
So Krishna would kind of start to laugh.
And he goes, you see it, right?
I see it.
Good.
Well done.
Now, what I was talking about beforehand about you have to be careful. Like if he kind of like grabs, you can feel his fingers touch the edge of the thing, which obviously makes you lose the place of where it is. He's like, it kind of taps it just a little bit. You see how now that you're focused so much right now, compared to where you were before, you're so focused in that if I just tap this slightly, you completely lose sight of it. Now imagine looking out by distances that, well, right now you're going to have to try to imagine. Any slight movement, any slight change in where it is that you're looking, and you're going to completely lose sight of whatever it was that you had spotted before. That's what you need to be careful for. But that's not even the fun part of this. I want you to do me a favor. You see the tip of the mast. Back up your view just a little bit. Focus back just a little bit, which you can kind of do. And so you can still see that image that's on there, but it's a lot harder to make out. Now see the bottom of the mast. And so more or less he's saying, hey, stare at this thing over here. Cool. See how you see this thing? Awesome. Read the screen. Go ahead and read the screen for me.
Okay.
He's like, do you think you can, and I don't even know how to describe how to do this. Do you think you can figure out how to look at the other side of the mast from where you're standing?
Nothing makes sense here, but I'll fucking try.
Yeah, I really, with this one, it's just kind of, this is why some people will leave one eye open and the other one closed so they don't get too disoriented. Because even with people like us, where we can choose what way we're walking and which way is up and all that, it can be a bit disorienting how quickly you can change what the angles are and so on. So just kind of, how do I think about this? You have to imagine, you're changing which way is up or which way is down, but through the glass as opposed to what is actually happening for you. Roll me a wisdom check and don't roll poorly.
Haven't I done this before?
Change your perspective? No.
No. Choose what way is up and down there.
Well, yeah, sure, but this is different.
Okay.
And again,
what do you want? Wisdom.
It takes a feat to become attuned. So,
Yeah.
a wisdom check, yep. Roll a 1. Roll close to a 1. That'd make me so happy.
Fuck you. Alright, I got nothing.
So,
14.
Unfortunately, it does not. No. Wait, hold on. What's the DC? Because it's usually a 16. You got a 14. Yeah. So, you nothing bad happens or anything like that. It doesn't work. And again, I don't know if Grishka says anything. I imagine he pulls the spyglass down, but he can't obviously make it work.
Yeah.
Does it say anything or?
I can't. I don't understand.
It's difficult. You just kind of have to practice with it for a bit. I really should be on the lookout now. So why don't you just sit here and kind of watch the technique I got, and we'll see if maybe that could help you moving on.
Sure. He nods and gives it back.
He takes it back for you, and he says, "All right." He chooses a point of the sky. He kind of looks around for a second, then chooses a point in the sky, off in the direction, and he says, They never attack from a front, from ahead. They always attack from a side. So one of the things that you want to look for is not necessarily are they beside you, because if they are, it's already too late. They're already coming at you at extreme speeds, going to smash into you, right? That's kind of the rest of the crew. You have to trust them to see it if you missed it. So what you're going to try to do is look for the direction that you're going towards, right? And try to keep an eye a bit ahead and off to the sides. Issue with that is it's a pretty wide view you're looking across. So you're going to start with your how does the angles work? Was it 40? Give me a second. I have to remember how this works. So 1 second. Where are you? Here you go. He's like, you're gonna start around, say like your 160 to your 130. Then you're gonna skip that all the way over until you get to about your 40, all the way up to about your 80 or so. That's kind of the area that you want to look in. Once you're in that sweep, skipping the middle and sweeping on the other side, that's how you want to go about it. Another thing to point out is they won't attack from above. If they attack from above, then the likelihood of them being catching you off guard is very slim. And let's be honest, them slamming themselves onto the deck of the ship doesn't allow them to dismantle us and take us apart piece by piece. They want to almost segment the crew, keep them separated. Each one of them can handle several crew members themselves handedly. So you want to be able to kind of keep yourself, attack us in angles where they can meet us on the inside of the ship, or a couple on the outside, but not too many at once, right? That way they don't have any losses on their side. So you want to look in those angles, but you want to also look kind of downwards, somewhat directly to the side, but mostly downwards. You understand what I'm saying here? And then you just kind of do sweeping motions, focusing as much as you can, a bit back, not too far, a good medium length. See if anything catches your eye, focus on it. If not, pull back and keep going. Let me show you. And then he starts doing these big sweeping motions like this. And you're like, okay. As he's very, very steadily, and you're like, the deltoids on this man must be beefy. You know what I mean? Like, I'd love to see him shirtless. As he holds his arms outwards like that for long periods of time, and not even with like a stand, not even like you're a tourist standing on top of like some tall building and you pop that quarter or whatever in there to look about, right? Like he's holding it with his arms, as he's really scanning about. He does this for an amount of time before he hands it to you and allows you to start fiddling with it. Why don't you go ahead and roll me both an intelligence and a wisdom check for the last time.
No problem.
Yeah, nobody in chat was nice enough to give you Winifred's wisdom, so you can't use it for this.
That's all good.
Oh fuck!
Hey,
That's
he's
all
done
good.
it.
Casually
All he
rolled
needed to
20.
do was watch that guy work it for a little bit.
Just in case, I will. Unfortunately, I'll use some more luck, but on the intelligence. Just
No, this is
I'm gonna
okay.
try
Getting
and get that.
the finding out if someone's attacking us early is probably a good thing.
17 on the end.
Why don't you go ahead and roll me a perception check? You don't have your plus 20.
Oh god.
Can I not recast it?
I mean, you could, but would you have recast it just before you picked up the scope?
If I noticed that my senses dimmed, I would have.
Okay.
Because this is important. Where is it? There. 45.
Okay. Do you want to modify your 45 at all either?
Fuck.
Because I can't press the 50, and 45 is a ridiculous score anyway.
It is an obnoxious score. I heard the dog bark, which makes me very excited because that means that Brittany's home. And if Brittany's home, that means that I have coffee coming. If I have coffee coming, that means I'm a happy boy. So, very excited about it.
These clips are in the clip channel are great.
I
need to go have a look
have to
at
check
them.
some all the time. Yeah. So anyways, yeah, he's so you're going to go ahead and give a glance out there, and you're gonna look about, and see a whole lot of nothing. Until no, wait, you saw something. You saw my wife coming in through the door. Hi, hey, how you doing? What's up, man?
Oh no, she's hit ramming speed.
You know, while he's doing this, I'm
Hey,
gonna
I'm
roll
back.
my health.
That's a good
Oh,
idea.
he's back.
Do it.
Screw it, I'm gonna roll my
Do
health
it.
anyway.
Do it.
Fucking god.
That's bad. So,
Why
anyone
is
want
this
to
my
give
life?
give Tesh a reroll on that one?
Fucking goddamn. This is, I want to point out, this is literally,
I'll
I
do
want to
rerolls,
say,
that's a good
the
question.
fourth or fifth time I rolled a natural one on the first time I tried to roll hit dice.
Was it Aid of the
rerolls
Martyr
are
for
aid.
rerolls?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. It was Aid of the Martyr for reroll.
Legitimately, the last 4 or 5 times I've leveled up, I've had to get a reroll from chat because I've rolled a 1.
Same. I've also rolled terribly in all my stream games. Of,
I don't understand what
healthy though. Like Raerin didn't have great health pool, which is kind of like why it's such a joke that the god decided to disintegrate him. Like
I will say I do
what
well on the
overkill.
rerolls if people give me rerolls, but those first rolls are always so abysmal. It's like
You go Viking.
Scott's rigging it. He wants them. He wants them rerolls.
Your fellow Aussies come through for your strong.
Did someone give me
Saw
aid?
that one and he
Aid?
went, yeah, nah.
Aid?
Yeah, nah, mate. We're just gonna have to roll that one again.
Yeah, don't fuck it up, Tesh. Come on.
You said this.
Oh my god!
What the fuck?
Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Last time, and then he's gonna drive. He's gonna drive to Adelaide with a couple of huntsmen for you.
Do I get to reroll again?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh god, please. Okay, I'll take that.
Much better. Much
There you
better.
go.
Sorry, it got caught on my microphone. It was gonna be a 7, but I got caught on my microphone and bounced back to a 6.
Oh god.
Much better than a 1.
Much better than a 1. That is what is with my rolling hit dice though. Like the amount of ones I've rolled on hit dice is actually insane.
That was bad.
Hey,
That was bad.
Otto. Hey, baby. Tesh laughed at your expense. Do you want to make him reroll again?
What?
Yes, please.
Just saying.
I said very
No,
much. thank you.
Anno doesn't believe in rolling hit dice. They all get average where he's from.
Triple. Yeah, I wouldn't have been surprised if I got triple ones, honestly.
All right.
I have rolled double nat ones on advantage far too many times for it to be statistically possible.
By the way, quick question. You boys' opinion on pumpernickel bagels?
I don't
I've
know
never
what
eaten a
a
pumpernickel
pumpernickel
bagel.
Yeah.
bagel is.
Hmm?
What's a pumpernickel?
Well, you know,
that's what I was
It's a
thinking.
type of bread, right?
Mhm.
Where it's got sunflower
Oh,
seeds in it or
okay.
some shit, and pumpkin seeds.
I have no opinion.
I've not had it. I had sesame seed bagels the other day, and I loved it.
pumpernickel is like a dark rye, like a very dark rye. It's almost sweet tasting, like almost like I think there's molasses in it or something to make it a sweet tasting dark rye.
I like rye bread.
Hmm.
You just got cream cheese on there.
That's
Sweet
right.
salmon.
American has like cake bread.
Oh, it's I'm trying to get it to
It's
focus
not
on.
focusing, but cheese with cranberry in.
No, it's a bacon horseradish.
Mm.
So it's got bacon and horseradish
He
mixed
went
in.
full Yoda.
The place that we go to, they make their own cream cheese too. So it's like it's homemade cream cheese with that stuff in there. Oh, it's so good, so good. So that means the bacon was probably made today or yesterday. It's not like old bacon, but like, you know. Anyway, so go ahead. Back to what we were doing. You're focusing and looking out, and all of a sudden you spot something. You see something out there. You're not sure what it is. It's rather far away. It's hard to make out. You try to zoom in on it more.
Full perception.
And more. And more. But what is that? What do you say?
I've got something.
What is it?
As he's focusing, I don't know. I can't make it out.
Why can't you make it out?
I don't know what it is.
Say
don't
it.
know
Say
why
I have
can't
the
make it out.
power.
I got the power.
So what does it look like that I'm seeing?
Unfortunately, with how far away it is at the moment, a dot.
Oh, I'll say looks to be a dot. So I'll see if I can get closer.
All right. So you sit there and you continue working about it. You got a net of 20. You know what I mean? You don't have to worry about this. So, oh my God, sweet black sustenance. All right.
Please clip that out of context for me.
That's a flat color too. That's easily green screened off. God damn it. Oh no. That's really bad. Oh God.
Good.
Moving on. So you focusing on it and kind of like leaning into it, eventually you see it's not one dot. There are many dots that are out there as you're focusing in. As you're pulling in closer, yeah, no, there's a large something with a bunch of other somethings about it. You can keep, do you say anything or do you keep focusing?
I'm talking as I'm focusing.
Go ahead.
Like it's just he'll say, "There's more than one. There's one that's larger than the rest." And he'll continue to see if he can look any closer. But if the guy, says anything back,
Yeah, he says, I'm tempted to take it from you, but you keep focusing. Kind of like you could feel his like nervousness in his tone. You can like feel his body movements are suggesting he's like looking down and looking back out. Like I don't got the things, I can't do the thing, but he's letting you do your thing. And so you continue focusing. All of a sudden, you focus up a bit more, and you realize, no, there are many, many dots out there. Wait, is that? That must be a structure of sorts. Yeah, no, there's a giant structure set out there, and there are other ships around it. That must be some sort of port or city or something. Whatever it is, you're actually seeing a large structure. I have to imagine almost like a space station, right? Floating in space, right? It's a large structure, but it's exposed all on the outsides, all around. And there's a whole bunch of like buildings, or I wouldn't say a bunch, but there are buildings that seem, or building-like spire-like things coming off of it. It's hard to make out what this is, but there's a bunch of ships kind of heading towards and away from it. Maybe 3 dozen or so ships around it at this point in time, at least. And you're able to focus in, and you can keep focusing, all the way up until you happen to focus in on a person standing in the middle of a, we'll call it street, holding something in their hands. You're not sure what it is. It looks like it could be a fruit. You're not sure. Definitely looks like it could be a fruit, like a plant or something, but the colors are too vibrant to look like any fruit you've ever seen or heard of. Anyways, and they look like they're arguing with the person that's behind the counter. But then because you're focusing so hard, you keep focusing and focusing on the fruit until like you're literally looking at the fruit almost at like a microscopic level, and you're like, ah, and you have to, and again, you have to hold yourself so steady so you don't screw this up. Anyways, you end up pulling it back a bit and a bit more and a bit more until once again you see there are about 3 dozen ships around this location. What do you say? What do you do?
First, what did the person look like? Were they human? Were they something else?
If not human, human enough looking. You know, pigment of the skin is different than a typical pigment you'd find in a human, right? Hair is different in like its coarseness and whatnot than you find. Clothing is very strange, but humanoid. You know what I mean? The person they were speaking to is another creature that again looks to have a bit of like a coat of fur or something like that on them. If it's not fur, maybe it's just they're covered in like long hair all around. It's just like a almost animalistic looking creature on the other side of the counter. Continue.
He's as he's noticing these things, he's talking the whole time. He's saying like, there seems to be some large structure with ships coming to and from. And then as it goes in further, and he's just talking to himself. He's like, "There's a kid. He's holding. I need to go back." So then he's focusing on whatever he can see, and he'll say, "I don't know if it's like some type of port."
I muted in time. My coffee is right in front of my stream deck too, so I was afraid I was going to knock it over as my hands press button. Anyway, so he says, "Wait, your view, you see ships are around this thing, right?
Yes.
A few buildings coming off of it, all directions."
If that's what it is, then yeah. But I'd say there is one bigger building, right?
Yeah, there are many buildings around it, or I say several buildings around it. Yeah, all of a sudden, you feel a hard slap on your shoulder, completely screwing up where it is that you have this in your sight because you're so focused. And he's like, "Well, I'll be damned. Holy hell. That is exactly where it is that we're going. Do you have any idea how far away from here that is?" The fact
But
that
now
you
I've lost
found
it.
that, that's okay. The helmsman knows how to get there. That is insane that you found that. That was either some of the biggest beginner luck I've ever seen in my life, or you're going to be teaching me a thing or two soon. I'm being honest with you. Well, how far out? I'm pretty sure we are from there. I don't think I could spot that.
Try,
Playing is weird.
and he'll like offer him the thing.
He's like, yeah. And he grabs it and he starts looking like vaguely off in the direction that you were. And he spends an amount of time searching that direction. And after an amount of time, he just kind of goes, "Yeah, no." and hands it back to you.
I guess you're the new spotter.
I'll take it back. I'm new to this though, right? You're probably better off with this at the moment.
Oh, yeah. Probably a good idea. Why don't you just sit there and, if I see anything, I'll hand it to you and test and see how quick and whatnot you can find it. And we'll just kind of spot from here together for a bit, all right?
Yeah, that sounds good.
He
Don't
does.
be attacked by a ship.
When you say that, it's almost like it changes the tone. He's like, "Oh, that's right. Attacked by a ship."
He got a little excited.
He's like, "We, as far as I know, they don't know where the port is. If they knew where the port is, they'd bring their ship here. You see, the huntsmen, that's what they look for. They find lowly targets, like single targets, and they take them out, gather their goods, and they move on. But while, sure, they're raiders, and they take the ships one at a time, they're also spotters. They look for the real targets for their actual vessel to go and approach. If we think there's huntsmen about, we probably shouldn't make our way directly there because we could lead them to it."
Smart play.
Oh dear.
You want to do me a favor? You want to just hop down there and give the captain a heads up and let her know what you've found and all that and where we're at, and I'm going to keep spotting, all right?
No worries. Is there that port have a name?
He thinks to himself and says, I don't really know. Like we all have a name. We all have names for the different ports we go into, but I don't know if there's a proper one.
What would you call it?
That one, Spire. There's another one I call the Hole. There's another one I call Pile of Shit. You know, just kind of.
Fire it is.
Yeah. And so he goes back to searching and trying to spot and see what he can, looking about the two different areas that he was mentioning beforehand to see if there's any what are they called? Huntsmen about. And so you're gonna go ahead and make your way back down. Because time is of the essence now, why don't you go ahead and make a climb check?
Tempted to say no.
I didn't ask.
Climb. There we go. 8.
We.
Damn, Jake, you're rolling bad.
At some point in time, the ball gets like hooked around like the netted of a rope, which is good because when you fall off, it keeps you suspended upside down. Mm-hmm. So you're not falling. And at one point in time, Ilen kind of like looks up with Raerin because you guys are going out doing your own thing, whatever. You kind of come back above deck. You look up and you're like, oh, he's got it. He's actually walking down the underside of the ropes. Like he's figured this out. It's impressive. But he's just kind of, yeah.
Like, look, everyone, Grisha's got it. Everyone, look. And he's just hanging there like,
You know what? Charisma check, Neil.
no, I'm not doing it.
No, charisma check.
No.
You got to do it. You got to throw your shade.
You know what, Scott? You can't make me.
You're right. Unfortunately, I can't make you. So I guess no charisma check. Where were we? What were we doing? Sorry.
Yeah, let's scoot on to the next topic.
Yeah, we're keeping an eye out for the bad.
Wow.
Oh,
Wait, hang on.
he can make me. That's what I was baiting.
I just took me a minute to find the name. So
I've got a lot in my handouts. There's a reason that I began the name with an A because it starts at the top.
That is a smart thing because we do have a lot of handouts now.
mine starts with Daelric.
I also have to include my summons. So I have a bunch.
All the ones that you have and all the other NPCs that have character sheets, those are all on my list.
Oh no.
Every one of them.
Be glad that I have opted for not adding my summon monster 5 monsters yet and just deciding that I'm going to do the whole summon multiple of 4s.
Here's an example. Not done. Small positive elemental. Hi.
Yeah. Look, we probably don't need to bother with those now. I can actually summon full elementals.
Okay. So, anyways, back to where we were. Nice. So, you guys are you kind of see him there, and eventually Alarel is kind of like, I'm responsible for him, and I have to wonder, do you let him back up gracefully, or do you just like unentangle it so he falls to the deck below?
He'd help him down nicely.
Okay. And so Grishka gets down below. You go and you inform the captain. Do you invite the other two with you?
Do what I'm told. If they come, they can.
Do you invite them though? Like, because they don't know that you're going to go speak to the captain.
Why do I have 7 of these? Sorry, go on.
What is it? Alarin helped me down, so I'll say I have to report to the captain.
Doing something.
Yeah, a port. Apparently, it's where we're going. Spire. or something.
Long way out.
Yeah, that's what that guy said.
Fair enough. I guess we sent you up there for the right reason. Let's tell the captain.
And,
Aurorum
yeah.
invites
lead the way.
himself.
Yeah, Ilen would come with at that point, thinking that, oh, okay, we're all going.
No problem. So you guys all head to the as you were just saying beforehand, to the captain. As you approach where she is, again, she's above deck, so it's not like she's down and you have to disturb her in her chamber or whatever. So as you approach to her, I imagine the first one to speak would be Alorel, and she'll turn to regard. Alorel, feel free to do your opening.
Grishka spotted something. The other spot sent in town.
She looks over and says, "Already, Grishka, should I be concerned?"
I don't believe so. It's the port that we're going to.
Windfall.
Was told it was Spire, but Windfall sounds better.
Windfall's the actual name.
Well, Windfall it was.
You spotted Windfall.
I did.
That's impressive. Either we're closer than I thought we were, or you have quite the eye.
Well, I used some magic to help me. This is a trying time. I don't want to have the ship break into.
I understand. So why is it that you needed to report something I already knew we were on course for?
I was told to report by the other spotter.
Is there anything else?
Question. That we should obviously not lead the whatever sunk or not sunk, whatever destroyed that boat to where we're going. So we should probably take a roundabout route.
Always defense-minded. Yes, unfortunately, that is a good idea. I have another one. Would you care to watch, to look about?
I'll do my best.
It's not as powerful as the first, but perhaps that's not a bad thing for you. It seems like you got a grip of the first, but you'll be focusing on things a little less far.
Okay, I'll try.
She reaches into like her coat that she has, and she draws out a much smaller spyglass. So again, not like the one that kind of like, is big and like this. It actually is like a smaller version of it. You know what I mean? Kind of like a bit closer out. She hands it to you and she says, and do apologize, the view on this one can be a bit fuzzy if you're looking too far, but you get the general idea of how it works. Also, the other aspects of it that don't work quite as keenly as well. So you have a degree of angling that you can choose, but you don't have the full perspective available to you. You don't necessarily need it either if you're just looking for huntsmen. And it's important that you don't comfortably go to sleep at night, because the huntsmen like to get you when your guard is down.
Well, can't really sleep here anyway, so...
It is one of the few blessings that we have.
I will need time though to obviously practice to get acquainted so this chain can be removed.
That's different. That takes, for some people, time, and for others, more.
Well, it can't stay attached to me forever, so...
True enough. If you're strong-minded enough, you'll figure it out. Otherwise, you'll just acclimate.
Right, well. Back up the crow's nest?
No. Pick a side of the ship. Keep an eye on one side. Make things easier for yourself. There's no reason to get your mind all scrambled.
Will do.
She looks to Ilen and says, And you?
I just came with. Didn't figured a meeting of some kind was happening. I thought I'd weigh in, but there wasn't anything for me to weigh in on.
Where you come from, the successes of your friends might be something that you can lord in together, but here you have to earn your own success. Find something to do, and do it well, like your companion has.
Well, there.
And,
Go. Okay, we'll go back up on deck, and I think I'm actually gonna just, in case things happen, attach a life link. I can actually do life link to 10 people. That's probably a little dangerous. So I'm just gonna do a life link to one to I've already forgotten his name. Neil's character.
Alorel.
Alorel.
Beautiful. So you do a lifelink to Alorel. We'll worry about the others afterwards. Describe how it feels again.
So the lifelink is essentially, well, they don't really feel anything other than seeing a almost imperceptible, like almost God ray style sort of light going from them to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's only there if you really sort of like have the right angle and really look for it.
Mm-hmm.
You feel it when you take damage. If you have more than 5 health from your max health missing, you feel energy rushing from that into them, and that's, for me, it's being drained into the link.
Neil? Alorel's response to this lifelink.
I mean, do I actually notice it?
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, he would actually probably tell you he's doing it since you've never experienced it before. So this will help in combat. It'll heal you, drain from me.
Right. But what is it?
Think of it as a tether. If you get hurt, I take damage and I take a bit of my energy and give it to you and heal you.
You know, I practice an art that makes me invisible.
It's not that sort of thing. Like it's perceptible for us, not for other people. I don't think it actually. Let me double check, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't actually have a. I'm describing it like that for my own flavor. I don't think it actually has a.
I don't think it affects that either. Otherwise, no rogue would ever be in a party with it.
Yeah, it's only perceptible for us.
Well, he'd sort of pass his hand through the light a couple of times.
Nothing would happen. It's almost like it is like a god ray that just only you can see in the right angle and stuff. It's weird.
Thanks, I guess. Listen, Ilen, don't worry about the captain. She's just playing hard. I've done barely anything on my time in the ship other than during combat, and we've got along just fine.
It's okay. I have something prepared if we get into combat that should at least get a little bit of a rise out of people.
Well, don't be a hero.
I don't plan to be. And then Ellen would just start looking over the edges and just keeping an eye out.
Okay. Jake, back to you. Roll me a perception check.
I expect at least a 50, Jake.
Sorry.
For shame.
We're like only a 43.
I also realized I forgot to describe magic vestments, and I very much imagine it like the tech armor in Mass Effect. Just almost an extra shimmer of the armor above it.
Fur-trimmed cape settles on his shoulders.
More like just like there's almost extra pieces of armor that are just a bit of light opposed to the actual armor itself. You know, if I was to wear full plate, that's what it would look like, except instead of being metal, it's like light.
So, if you what was I gonna say? The Jake, do you want to modify that to try to get that 45 like you got before?
That is a cruelly high DC, like ridiculous if it is a 45.
But remember, you're also dealing with distances that are extreme. You deal with the Hubble telescope right now.
Yeah, but that
And
little Hubble
I'm going
telescope's in his
to.
hands.
I'm gonna ask I'm gonna ask you guys what your opinion is.
Hey Jake,
Look.
I trust you.
Yeah,
Right.
if
Nah,
you want
nah.
Situation.
No, we're not doing that
wanna-
because look, I have used 3 on my own volition without even consulting you guys. You can give me some input.
I'm saying if you want to use it, I'm all for it because if we can catch this thing early, if there is something, it's worth it.
Neil?
The way's better to catch it early, because
Oh,
poo in your pants is.
There you go.
Oh, hell yeah.
Looking about off the side of the ship that you are, I don't know how much time passes. Minutes, hours, days. You don't know. You're just doing this for a long time. There's no sun moving. You can't see it getting brighter or darker. There's no hunger growing. There's no tiredness. There's no fatigue beyond your muscles occasionally aching. You just continue. And it goes on. Even conversations. Try to oh, well, we had that long conversation about, can't track that way either. Neil's raising his hand like he's in grade school.
Can I just
Go to the bathroom? No.
The spotters are the ones that always die first, and that spotter didn't die, and then he realized you're a good spotter, and now he sent you away and said we need to take a circuitous route. He's kind of sus. Look at Scott's face.
He's sitting here like, we're dealing with lopers.
No, Lopez is small fry. Like everything that Regicide deals with.
That was actually really good logic, Neil, and now I'm like, fuck.
It is good logic, but remember, the other guy died.
I guess so, but yeah.
Yeah, the other guy died, but not him.
Well, you imagine there was only one spotter at the time.
That makes sense.
Because they take turns?
No. The multiple spotters.
Yeah.
Why would you not put both your spotters on during high risk time?
Oh, during high risk time, but maybe it wasn't a high risk time. They got caught off guard.
That's a fair point.
Yeah. So,
that would actually make sense. That you would really only need to get rid of the spotter if it was like a ambush time, so they don't get ready. If they're already on high alert, then just go for it.
So you guys are going to be searching about Jake. You happen to notice something out there. Again, you're not sure what it is. Go ahead and roll me that intelligence and wisdom check now.
Scream NASCAR.
Doesn't it get any easier?
No, it's your first time holding the thing.
But it's a smaller one.
Let's see, if I put you in front of the Hubble telescope right now and said, "Hey, Jake, control this," and you're like, "I used it like once or twice. I think I got this
But
down."
then put him in front of a smaller but very big telescope.
Well, the Hubble's out in space, right? So instead, you send them to like. Do you want to modify either of those or both of those? You got to lock that.
I don't really have the lock tie on it, and it's not really gonna make a difference.
How about in Regicide, they could be having a conversation about like crackers versus like chips or something, and they get Winifred's wisdom all the time over there, and over here you're like, we could die, and they're like, no luck dice. You've fallen so far from those graces, boys, so far. So you are happy with where it is?
Yeah, they're low rolls.
You absolutely see something out there. You absolutely see something out there, and you focus further and further and further as you go. And the problem is, it's so freaking blurry that it's really hard to because of it's not as powerful there. So it's so freaking blurry. You're not sure what the heck you're seeing is. Even when you zoom up more, it just makes it so blurry, almost like because of the facets cut into the gem, right? Almost pixelated. to the point where it's like, oh, it like hurts your eyes. I don't know if you last time you sat in front of a boomer TV, like a TV that was made in like the 1970s, and you like went up close to it, and you're like, ah, it's just terrible. It's like legitimately hurts your eyes to be close to, like the kind of TV I grew up with. It's like one of those. It's like you can make out. You think it's not something small. It's not like a person, right, or like an object floating. It looks bigger than that. You're pretty sure, but like it's so effectively pixelated that you can't really make out the details. And unfortunately, you can't change the perspective to try to get like what it is by way of length or width, girth, anything like that. You just know that there's something out there. What does Grishka do?
Well, immediately he would just speak. If anyone was around, he'd just be like, "I see something." Does anybody respond?
So you guys just kind of call out. I see something like medium volume or like loud.
Loud.
So you call it out loud. That gets a lot of people's attention, including the two of you. A lot of people's attention. Everybody just like quiets up real quick, and then the crow's nest. You hear call down. Where?
I'll give him the direction of where.
You kind of like, where I'm looking, all right?
More or less.
And he's like, oh, the name of the hells, and like looks down at where you are and tries to like see where it is that you're looking, and like holds up his spyglass, and, like looks down at you again, then looks up, and he's just like, as he's trying to spot from your spot, both of you starting from different angles, and looks out in that direction and starts doing his own spotting. Hey, for funsies on this one, it's not important. Can you point somebody in chat to roll a d20?
Oh, shite.
Anybody you want.
Viking.
Wow, true blue, huh?
True blue.
All right, Viking, it's on you, buddy. He looks out for a bit. He's like, I'm not seeing nothing out there.
Fuck.
Well, I can see it, but it's not clear. It's
what do you
blurry,
mean?
I can't make it out.
Is it? And then like, from now, it's one of those things where, shit. You think you lost sight of it? Can you roll me another perception check?
Oh, fuck.
Yay!
Roll me that intelligence and wisdom check.
Oh,
Fuck off.
It's almost like we're playing a game.
Oh my god, Jake.
Do you want to modify either of those?
Modify both of them.
No,
Fucking
because you
Do
really
it.
want me to?
do it.
look, we're not going to use them in combat.
Jake, you're never gonna hear me say this again, but I don't want to get rammed.
All right, there you go.
You know why you lost sight of it, right? Because it started moving.
Moving.
At Mach 1 towards our veritable wooden booty.
It's
So I've got it now. I've locked on.
yeah, you've got it.
Target acquired.
All of a sudden, you're like, wait, I see it. It's just moving, I think. Either that or where. Okay, well, what this looks like is kind of frightening. Funny enough, you have a point of perspective for this from somebody who's never been around any oceans. Until you're in the water plane, you have a degree of perspective. This ship literally looks like, almost like if you're like top down look at it, which you can because you can change your angling. Literally looks like a squid coming quickly towards you. The front of the ship is long, thin, and has like an arrow-shaped head to it that looks like it's comprised of some amount of metal, not just like a flat arrow either. Almost like the tip of it has a bit of a drill like to it. This is a standard thing that exists in this out here.
So is
So-
the squid a figurehead? Is that what you mean? At the front of the ship?
Oh yeah, no, not exactly. It is the tip of the ship. So the ship is the entire thing. I actually can pull up an image for you. I was literally looking at this image last night when I was talking to Keegan and preparing my for today. So it was one moment. Actually, literally had this image pulled up again, literally yesterday. I'm not going to search through recent images though, because that's way too many websites. Open way too many images looked through. Let's go down this rabbit hole. Oh, where did I have you? Where did I have you? Was it here? Close. There's the spider one. There's the snail one. Let's look at the spider one. See if that helps me. Some more spider ones. We don't want that to actually look like a spider. That'd be annoying. Where the hell is it? I literally had this image. Well, I'm describing it to you as being a...
I think what he meant was the ship itself is like a squid shape.
Yeah, it's squid shaped with the head being like an arrowhead to it. I can't find
Almost
it.
sounds like it's gonna ram and then grapple on, sort of thing.
It rams into, and so because of the fact that it's long and thin, it's actually designed that as it rams in, it almost the thing actually almost like crumbles and shrapnels into the ship itself. So it's designed to do destruction when it lands. So so this thing is coming at you. All of a sudden you realize it's coming at you at extreme speeds. So as this thing is like moving towards you, and again, it's designed to pierce through, puncture into you, maybe even just kind of like an arrow would like pierce through and then just kind of be stuck there. As it's coming at you, all of a sudden you see these creatures that are on the thing preparing. You see one of them looking over to the other one, calling it out. Once again, another looking back to the other one, calling towards them as they're getting prepared. There's not really a mast on this thing. Because again, there's just a bit of fans that come off to the side, but they're much, much smaller fans. It almost seems like there's a degree of something dispersing from the back side of it, almost giving it like a bit of a launch forward. So you see that the small, looks like where a mast could be on this thing. One of the creatures is kind of like arm out, leaning on it, holding outwards. Probably the person that's giving directions to the others of where to aim, how to prepare, so on and so forth, because they seem to be the one talking the most. Let's actually describe the creature that you see here. It's hard to tell how tall they are because you don't have perspective of how big the ship is, right? So it's hard to see how tall they are. But looking at them, they're definitely humanoid in nature. They have skin that is so tight to their bone, it almost looks like a really bad facelift, right? It's so tight to the bone. Looks very stretched back, really playing up their elongated facial features and their very high cheekbones that they have. Their teeth are razor sharp, giving them this almost like carnivorous look to them. Their skin is this yellowish, this greenish yellow color. Their hair is different for each of them, but is brown in color. For those that wear it long, it's in braids that fall down the sides of their head, down the back of their head, so on and so forth. For those that wear it short, they keep it like kind of like little short tufts and about them. They have various markings on their body, typically deep red in color, sometimes black in color, but you almost imagine it's like tattoo works, like arcane runes or something like that, markings on their body as they're there looking towards. Their eyes themselves are not quite almond shaped, short, elongated on the side of the head, but almost how like anime style characters have like almost a bit of a squaring to them. It's almost like sharpness at the edges of the eyes. It has almost like a degree to it that makes them seem just a little bit alien. And even like their brow itself seems, while everything's very graceful in design, their brow itself seems to protrude a little bit further than a typical humans would from their head, or most humans would from their head, because their heads themselves, like I said, elongated. Even the top of their head almost has, not quite, it's not as this extreme and goofy looking, but almost like a cone head. If you've ever seen that 1980s or whatever movie, kind of like length to it. That, you know, stretches out to the back. Kind of like you imagine like when a baby is first born, like natural birth, how their head's elongated when they come out of the canal for the first, like, say, few days, weeks, months, whatever. Kind of like how that is for a child. Their fingers are longer comparative to their hand than a typical human, and they end in what looks like long nails or claws on them. The creatures have to them just like the way that they move, the way that they stand, the way they're calling to each other, an aggression to them. If they're naturally aggressive, you're not sure, but they're definitely preparing themselves, kind of psyching themselves up for what it is that they're about to do. If none of that was intimidating to Grishka before, If none of it was, the fact that you're looking from the captain to those about the ship and where they're kind of clinging on to, like, so the captain's kind of like in the front and center, preparing there. You see two of them are walking along the side of the ship and kind of like on the bottom of the ship, actually on like the underbelly of the ship itself. The hole down there, preparing themselves. One is on the very front of the ship, kind of crouched down, getting kind of prepared. Almost looks like they're getting ready to jump, giving the total of 4 on there. If none of that was intimidating, as the thing is getting closer, and of course, as Grishka's staring at this, he's calling things out, which I'm going to give you a moment to say. As the thing gets closer, not so close that your friends could even see it with the naked eye, but as the thing gets closer, you see that the one that seems to be leading, the one standing there again, arm out, kind of like leaning on the off of it, draws out their sword. Their sword itself looking like it's made out of some sort of liquid metal, moving and manipulating itself as it goes. Its shape seeming to not hold true to form, giving you that, oh no, kind of feeling from what was described to you session ago, whatever it was, right? Krishka, as you're seeing this careening towards you, as you're constantly trying to pull you're struggling to keep your perspective pulled back enough to keep it in sight, you're able to see and we can give you a bit more detail because you can also change the angle with your 23% wisdom check. You can actually change the angle of your viewpoint. What do you yell? And is there any degree of extra stuff that you want to look for specifically?
He's just, well, as soon as he catches sight of it again and works out what it is, he's gonna say, "It's a ship. They're coming for us. They're psyching themselves up. They're ready to attack."
What side of the ship are we all staring out off of? Like port, starboard? Port?
Yeah, port, I believe, is the right side of the ship if your back is to the actual after the ship. So that being said,
left.
Oh, goddamn! I always confuse those. I always confuse those because I don't know. I always feel like you pull up the right side of your. Anyways, so port is left. I always confuse it. So port is left.
Okay, so port side is what we're on.
So starboard.
Starboard. Okay.
He described the ship too. He'd say, "It looks like it's the ship looks like a fucking squid." He wouldn't go into detail about the people on it, I don't think.
You imagine that the people on it already know kind of like what it looks like.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's, I don't know. I just keep watching, kind of thing, I guess. Calling out its location. You know, I assume people are moving or doing something.
There we go. I found the actual. I'm gonna pop this into. Sorry, this took me a moment. I'm gonna pop this. This is a pretty basic image. It's not the one I was looking at beforehand, but it spells an image. Spells what I'm trying to say. This is gonna be inside Twitch chat. So if anybody wants to pop that open and look at it really quickly, this is not the image I was looking at last night. For some reason, I can't find it. But
oh yeah, that makes sense.
It gives you an idea of what it is I was trying to describe. And the whole front of the ship is literally designed to just smash into your ship, right? It's all designed just to cut through it. Yeah, you're not worried about illithids though. I want to do that to them, Shinny. Don't worry, not yet.
The second that he starts talking about the fact they're coming for us, I'm just gonna put this on as well because we're about to get into combat. So 10 minutes of that.
You'd see Alarel grits his teeth and draws his two shortish curved swords. And then as you like might glance as he does this, and then you see his canines start to enlarge. And his back bulges slightly. And he hulks forward for just a moment. And you see golden fur begin to sprout over his body. And you lose sight of his face for a moment. And his face is elongated. And where before he had this sort of red-grey hair, he's now covered in this beautiful golden fur, head to toe. His face is vulpid. It's like a fox, but it's still got that golden glimmer of Alarel's eyes. You can tell that it's still Alarel, but maybe he's a bit more on edge now.
That's cool.
One thing I'd yell out is, do I keep my eyes on it, Captain, or can I prepare?
She says, I need you to keep an eye on them. I need to know when, as long as it looks like that we are the target. I don't see anything about, but we need to make sure that they are looking like they're going to attack. The most important thing is to keep how many you can see, and see if you ever lose sight of one of them. Watch them. Don't stop. Everyone else, prepare. We need to look like we're not prepared, but everyone else, prepare. Mind you, as soon as you started calling out we're being attacked, the guy in the crow's nest jumped off of it. Bye.
Yeah, fair enough.
Seeing that happening, like while she's in the middle of a speech, she's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" He's like, She's like, if they know that there's no spotter up there, then they will not attack. They'll know that we're prepared for them. We need to catch them off guard. Get the dummy up there. And
Ilen screams as he's dragged up. No, not the dummy!
lifelink. So, all right. So, you actually will see a couple of crewmen will go and they'll go and get. And funny enough, this is not a living creature, right? It's actually like an animated object. Once again, magic. Out and about, but very simple. It's not an animated object that can animate objects while having no intelligence score can follow commands pretty well. This almost has like a very simple command loop, and so they go and they grab this thing and they quickly jump it up to where it is up above, and it's kind of like have it engaged, and they hop back down, allowing this dummy to be on like a bit of a loop. And as they're kind of like, preparing it and hopping down, she calls out and she says, "And don't let that get destroyed. It costs more than all of you." And goes about to getting people to be prepared. You can see that people trying not to be seen are swarming themselves like ants on an anthill, right? All throughout the ship to where it is that they need to go. But instead of like just running up on the upper deck, they need to go below deck and prepare themselves down there, or walking off the aft side of the port side, the port side of the deck, because it's off starboard where the concern is. That way they can't see them. But then Jake, they do something. You actually see one of those creatures out there does something that catches your eye as you have your natty 20 with a total of a 57 perception check. Insanity. You see that the leader amongst them pulls out, with one hand they have the sword out, the other hand they were holding onto the pillar. They let go of the pillar and reach into their own pouch or wherever they have it hidden, and they draw out their own spyglass and start looking back. What do you say or do?
I say he's about to. The leader's pulled out his own spyglass. I'm pretty sure he's about to spy us. Spy me. Me looking at him, looking at me, looking at him.
Alarel would hiss at you. Look away.
So you said something, right?
Yeah.
What did you say? Sorry. So it sounded like you were talking to me in the meta. So.
No, I literally, I more or less stated that he's about to spot me, like looking at him.
And so he hisses, "Look away." And so what does Grishka do?
He's going to look. If Alarel says look away, he's going to kind of move the vision, I guess. And look away.
Ilen would like make it look like he's fiddling with the ropes and stuff that's nearby.
Okay. So you start what you say, fiddling with the ropes?
Well, actually, he would honestly just get down and next to like where the stuff's being tied and just.
He doesn't. We've already worked out he doesn't know how to tie knots, so he's just like got this length of heavy rope, just hitting the deck with it. It's just over and over, just donk.
Well, he doesn't even have to fake. He can try to just tidy up the because there's excess rope.
Well,
He'd probably just start tidying that up, like just something like that. It's something that's doesn't really need to be faked. That is actually real. That is just they haven't done because they're in an emergency sort of thing.
It's actually real, Neil. It's actually real.
Fuck off.
So the captain is actually going to call over to you and say, Ilen,
Yep.
getting your attention. She says, you to my quarters now.
I would go.
She looks over at Jake, how you kind of like said he's spotting me or whatever it is. She says, why don't you have your eye on them?
I was told to take it off.
Explain.
Alora would
He's
turn and
about
say,
to-
if they see us, then that's it.
They have a glass?
Oh, yes.
Grishka, to my quarters now. Alorel, stay with them. Keep them safe during the impact. We're going to see if we can avoid this damn thing from happening. But if it comes out, I need them alive.
He'd
Reluctantly, but Grishka would go.
Alora waits. He lingers and cocks his head, and it's like, "Are you sure?"
She nods and says, I told you, they're your responsibility. My quarters are the safest. Bring them there.
Don't get caught.
And so you guys will go and walking down into her quarters. So as you're walking down into the place, I mean, you can imagine it's designed very fanciful, so on and so forth. One of the things that probably strikes you as strange for her quarters is, unlike everything else you've seen on the ship, it doesn't look like she uses all six walls really in here as a ground. It actually looks like she only uses 3 of them. So the door that you walk into, that wall has on it decorations, right? And then you have the wall that's off to your left, and above you, one is used for, again, like decorations, so on and so forth, and the ceiling is used like a ceiling. But the floor that you're actually walking, the wall to your right and the wall directly across from you, those all look like they're actually set up as floors. So she kind of like walks across the 3 floors, but that way, whichever direction she's standing on, she has an area that kind of like looks either as a wall or a ceiling to her perspective that has a degree of, design. Like it actually looks nice. She has the luxury of space where she can, where she can actually have it designed well for her, right? But the other 3 floors are set up for efficiency, where her bed is and so on and so forth. It's not like she has some large, luxurious bed here either. Her bed is barely larger or barely softer than the beds of the crew, because beds are unfortunately a waste of space. You don't really use them unless you're injured. Anyways, so you go into the quarters. It's important to note that the quarters themselves don't have any windows on it whatsoever. There's no windows looking out in any direction. No glass at all. The entire thing is encased, aside from the door. When you guys go in there, LRL, you would know instinctively that, Ilen goes in. And Ilen, you obviously heard that they were following behind you as you went down the initial hatch to get down there. You would know, of course, to shut the door behind you. What surprises maybe all 3 of you, what surprises you is, even though the door looks like it's made out of wood, it shuts with a pretty hefty kind of a clank to it. Almost like it was metal clanking with metal, right? And holds it shut, allowing you guys to stay inside there. I mean, this thing just has a simple, like, latch knob to open and close, the door does. So it's not like there's like a submarine twist lock or anything like that, like you guys had in, session 1 of Kingmaker? All right.
We're going to be on the other side of it. We're going to hear these guys on the other side like, oh God, why would you put razor blades in there?
A hand will come through and like try and reach for the thing.
You hear, Renas, I told you stops with that.
Oh no, we're going to be murder hoboed.
Oof.
So you guys go in there and you shut the thing again. It has a bit of a hefty clank to it as you guys go down below. But the other thing before you go down below, you can hear the captain just consistently saying, everybody needs to act natural. If you're above deck, you're going about your duties. Stop looking off the starboard. Stop looking off starboard. Stop now. Look down. And walking about. And the funny thing is, as she gives these commands, one of the things that you notice, she'll kind of like look to her left, looking off the port as she then like projects her voice to them. Like, what the hell are you doing? Get back in line. Because that way they don't see her forcefully saying these things.
Yeah.
And walks about the ship, looking at things. And then eventually you hear, like, as she's saying these things, her boots making their way up to, actually step by step as opposed to the hops, slowly making her way up to where the actual helm is. And then you guys clank your door shut down below, locking the three of you in there. Alarel, obviously you've transformed as a person. Grown. And
He is taller. It's true. He is taller in this form.
Fair enough.
not
His
my
feet
final
are-
form.
His feet are digitigrade and therefore elongated.
So with your transformation, everything kind of going in there, you're both somewhat disappointed and also a bit out of place. Transforming into like your battle form, if you will, made it so you were prepared and you were like, but now just all of a sudden standing inside of a room, you shut the door behind you and you turn around and the three of you are just inside of a cozy room together and the two of you are staring at this furry and everybody's getting ideas. I'll allow you, Alarel, to kind of set the tone as you guys are just in there alone.
I mean, he'd begin pacing by the door. And yes, he has a tail. It's twitching. He's clearly on edge.
We can help,
Of course, we'll
We've got a lot
help.
of
That's not the issue. If this thing hit, can we avoid this thing hitting us, or is it gonna hit no matter what?
It's possible the captain knows what she's doing. It's designed for it. We're not designed.
Okay. I see. So we'll be fighting here either way.
Okay.
Maybe. If we do, have you ever fought anything underwater?
No.
Just pretend you're underwater if you fight these things. They won't be slowed as if they're underwater, but the way they can move. They are naturals. No acclimatizing needed.
So we should prepare then.
Not preparing would be foolish.
I'll start casting some spells.
This is where I decide if Hound Archons will be able to fight here effectively.
I'm ready.
Shield of Faith plus 2 morale bonus to attack roll saves and skill checks, and that's heroism, sorry, and Shield of Faith, which for you would be what? A plus 3 to AC deflection bonus?
Yep.
Okay.
Is it plus 3?
I think for you it is.
Yep. That's correct.
Talk to me, Tashi boy.
I was just trying to think that my Hound Archons would. I mean, it's.
That'd be pretty cool if all of a sudden you get a fox there and a hound pops up and is like,
Hound Archon, they're like human. Think like Anubis. They're like.
I know what a Hound Archon is, but you listen, they still gotta procreate. You know what I mean? Puppy
Anyway,
gonna shake his leg. Puppy gonna shake his leg.
Celestial. Anyway.
Celestial beings procreate too.
Anyway.
Neil couldn't have his tiefling baby. Okay? He wants to have his ASMR. Okay?
Anyway,
Tiefling will happen. Don't worry, guys.
what I'm wondering is if they would be at a disadvantage fighting here.
Oh, in the astral plane?
Yeah.
Oh no. No, these are planar.
No?
These are planar entities. These are creatures that are they're
perfect,
extraplanar
right.
beings. Yeah,
Then I'm good. Yeah.
This is literally extraplanar space.
yeah.
Perfect.
I mean, this isn't their native plane, but they're accustomed to it. You have to remember a Hound Archon. Even if you got like a young
extraplanar,
one,
yeah.
they're like a couple thousand years old. You know, like Like they've seen a thing or two. Do you already
And I'm
have
gonna
a
be
character sheet for
rolling
one?
But yes. I may be summoning more than one though.
That's cool. Hound Archons, to be clear, they have an intelligence 10, wisdom of 13. So it's not like they're the smartest or the or the wisest, but they're old creatures. You know what I mean?
And I'm going to be improving their strength and con as well. So it'll
Neil,
be fun.
Neil, if you go full fox mode, what size creature do you become? What size are you?
So, it does. So, in the Kitsune form, it doesn't affect your size. It affects Alarel's height, but it doesn't affect the size creature. To become actual fox, not every Kitsune can do that.
Oh, that's right. It's a feat. It's
But
a feat.
Alarel does have it.
Oh, cool.
You literally take the form of a fox. So
Cool.
tiny.
Oh, tiny size. Okay, so the Hound Archon.
I don't know how big a fox is.
So a Hound Archon shouldn't be large or medium size. They have to be small size for you to, not. Yeah, I gotcha.
I'm adding this just because it is a thing. They can change shape into any hound-like thing.
Such a peasant, Scott.
Canine form of small to large sized. As
Yeah.
if using beast shape too.
Yeah.
While in canine form, they lose their bite, slam, and great sword attacks, but gains the
Yeah,
bite for the form it chooses.
I'm unlikely to do that unless there's like a specific type of hound I'm looking for.
course.
Their combat is really fucking good outside of that form. So
Oh, of course.
Scott, no dogging.
Funny
they
thing is,
got fucking masterwork great swords.
yeah, at will, they have aid, continual flame, and greater teleport. So the funny thing is, you summon that Hound Archon, how long does it last?
It lasts 10 times 6, 60 seconds. Wait,
So-
that's
So
not
1
right.
minute.
Is that right?
10 rounds.
10 rounds. Yeah, 60 seconds. 1 minute.
Okay, cool. So the cool thing about summoning a Hound Archon is that they can cast aid at will. So that Martyr's aid, they can literally just cast it on all of you. You know? It does.
And the best thing
For
is-
Jake, he doesn't get the attack bonus because he already's getting it from heroism, but he can at least get the temp HP. What's up, sir?
Oh, the best thing is because I now have summon monster 5, I can do 1d3 Hound Archons.
Oh, yeah. All in one spell, yep. They constantly have detect magic and magic circle against evil, which is useful too.
And I can
yes.
evolve one of them to have an Eidolon evolution.
Ooh. Having just one of them with the evolution would probably be better than having 3 of them, but being
you can
prepared
only-
to...
It is a case of like only one of them gets it if I summon multiple.
Yeah, no, I gotcha. I was saying having one with evolution might be, but then again, if you wanted to go all in, like I'm going to spam my magic, I want to make sure that we win this fight. Pulling all 3 out at once, contacting another plane, and getting all of the doggers, bro. Getting all 3 of those at once, that would seriously tip the tide of the battlefield. I mean, these creatures are only CR4 creatures, right? But they're not wimpy by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, with their plus 9 chance to hit with their primary greatsword attack and whatnot, they're not wimpy creatures by any stretch.
It's
So.
More for me, plus 11 because of the increased strength.
The big thing, oh, that's true. That's true. It is plus 11. And the big thing is they have DR 10 and spell resistance 15. Like that's where they, even though they don't have a ton of AC, like their AC is not impressive or health points impressive, that's how they're able to kind of like withstand shit. So, anyways, you guys are there. Jake, you have this kind of quick conversation, and Jake, you immediately have Grishka say, I'm going to prepare then. And he casts, 3 spells, starting with heroism because it's longest lasting, waits a couple moments, casts Shield of Faith, and then when he's like, do you do divine favor after you feel the crash, or do you do it right away?
If I was let's I don't know. No, we'll do it before.
So let's see, Last thing I want you to okay, cool. Last thing I want you to know is divine favor is a luck bonus. When you use luck die, that's also a luck bonus. So you would have a constant bonus to you equal to +3. So you using a luck die would only net you a +0, +0, +0, or +1 to your roll for your attack rolls.
Yep.
Just so you're aware. Cool. It's just a reminder on that
I'm
one.
good with that.
Cool. Awesome. Anything else we want to say or do? Are you going to cast that spell, Tesh, or are you not? And Neil, is there any other preparations that your character can do?
I'd be waiting for the impact. When the impact comes, that's when I'd start casting.
Yeah, I won't do anything until combat starts.
Okay, cool.
I want the full minute of these guys to go ham.
Perfect. So then you guys get yourselves prepared. You hold on. You wait for it. And then all of a sudden, you feel it. It happens. Where you're standing, everything about it, what you choose to be down, goes lurching. Now, Neil, you've never... so you've been on a ship before where it's happened. You know which side it's coming from. So one of the suggestions that you have for everybody is, kind of make your way over to this wall over here, to the port wall, opposite of where the impact is going to be. No, sorry.
No, it's the same side that the
impact is coming from. Yeah. So
it's
it's the starboard wall, right? So make your way over to the starboard wall, and kind of like you stand there. And funny enough, you're half canine, half. So being on 2 feet or being on 4 is the same for you. So standing with your feet on the same ground as them and putting your hands on the wall next to it, or at least one hand to kind of prepare yourself, is fine. I imagine there's those last couple moments where you guys like kind of do your preparing. You have a little bit of like talking. And then everybody just gets quiet, and you just wait and wait. I even imagine one of your characters almost starts a little quip like, do you think they're even gonna... Boom! It happens all at once, right? And so the thing goes lurching. Because obviously you characters are prepared yourself, brace yourself for this. You knew that the impact is coming. You don't have to deal with some of the other stuff. But I do want you to go ahead and roll me a fortitude save against the impact.
God of fortitude. Can I not take that as a reflex? Gods. That's horrific.
Anybody want to modify theirs? Are they happy?
Mine's a 16.
Yeah, I see. No modifiers?
That's really cool.
Cool, awesome. So you guys have 16 is the lowest roll out of the three of you. You guys are fine. The impact happens. It's jarring. It's one of those things where maybe you would have like the nauseated condition that first round of combat or whatever it is, but since it's uniform and you're removed from actual combat, it's fine. But you hear that cracking, that crashing. You feel it, everything happen. The entire ship just kind of like, almost like you can hear the wood stressing as it bends under the weight of the impact from where it was hit and so on and so forth. The extent of the damage and what's happening everywhere else, you have no clue and won't until next week. Because,
you motherfucker.
And next week we have to goof off a little bit less. We have to actually get shit done. So why don't we end this right now so I can go and get ready for work and go to work. And we'll be
He's
good.
got to go and plough the fields for his master.
For your sake, the second that like Ilen's done getting shaken up by the impact, he would start doing the full round casting of summon monster.
We'll see if he does. All right, we'll be with you guys next week.
He would start. Doesn't necessarily mean he's going to finish.
Tesh, is there anything you want to say before we go?
Yes. Hi, I'm Tesh of the Tesh Tube on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Follow me on Twitch because Monster Hunter's coming out soon, and I managed to get an Elgato a while ago, but it's finally here. It took a while to arrive, so I will actually be able to stream Monster Hunter on my Switch, which I was worried I wasn't going to be able to, so I'm excited.
This is like your capture card, sort of the Elgato capture card. Beautiful, good for you, sir.
Yes.
Congrats. I was actually just looking at them last night.
Yeah, I've been wanting to stream from my Switch for a long time because there's a couple of games I want to do on there, but I'm very excited about Rise, and I'm happy that I'm going to be able to stream it because I wasn't able to stream Monster Hunter World when that came out for the first time because I didn't have one at the time. A capture card, I mean.
Yeah. No, kudos, congratulations on that. It's I was literally looking at it last night because currently mine's plugged into like a USB port, and so like it draws from the computer in ways that I wouldn't necessarily want to. So I was like, I want to upgrade to the other one, and I'm like, nah, it's too expensive. but no, good for you because you can use the Switch. You can do so many different things with that.
I'm excited.
Yeah. Neil, are you doing anything later on? A couple hours?
Hey guys, you know who I am. You can find me on twitch.tv/Raerin in 3 or 4 hours, something like that. Where we are playing Yabaskia Mind Over Matter, where I play a deadless and I hurt my throat talking like a dead person. And I'm like, by the end of the session.
Fun. Jake, anything you want to say?
No, just make sure you guys check out Warmonger on Monday for the Americans, Tuesday for Australians. Yeah, because it's new, it's exciting, and I'm having a good time. So Monday
Cheating on me,
or
Jake.
Tuesday.
You cheating on me?
Just a little bit. And I'm a
Didn't want you to find out this way. I'm sorry.
I'm a go. Bye, everybody.
Bye, Scott.
Bye. See you
Bye,
tonight.
Scooter.
Lost initiative. All that. Yay.
Before you close...
Is there somebody I can raid? Hold on. Wait. Is there a raid person?
Okay.
Let Tesh speak.
Hold on.
No,
Hold
just-
on,
I'm just saying
because
don't
we're
close the
still
call.
actually live. Before I,
Yeah.
because I gotta raid. Because I gotta go jump in the shower. Nobody ever following us live. All right. Bye.
Don't close the call though. Let us keep talking.